I came into agriculture when climate change hadn't been invented. There was no term about climate change. So we didn't come into organic agriculture because we wanted to put the climate right, because we didn't know it was wrong. I've had a very long career, and I've been instrumental in many changes on our farm. We took on a farm which was conventionally managed. We converted it to organic. We have a systems approach on the farm. So we look at the farm as a complete organism. We don't look at the farm in terms of independent components. We look at the farm as a whole. So we try to measure the farm in the way it works within biodiversity. Biodiversity is the driver of the farm system. So biodiversity from the soil, from the fungi, the bacteria, the organisms in the soil, right up to the top of the trees where we have bird life and insect activity. We look at this as a complete and total system. And we're really looking at our long-term carbon. We've been measuring carbon for many years, both in terms of what we can put back and also what we waste in terms of production. So we have a very clear picture. We've got a lot of very interesting data. We had a very good deep carbon survey done 3 years ago, which was able to compare our farm with a neighbouring farm which was running a different system. And the farm is pretty much dependent on trees, where we've planted over 2,000 trees within this 10 hectares. And these trees provide nutrients, they provide biological function, and they provide carbon. So we kind of look at the farm as a complete organism. This is the most important thing I see within our farm, is this whole systems approach. We're producing almost 100 different types of vegetables and some fruit. We do it all year round. We work 52 weeks a year. We supply vegetables throughout the whole season. We produce around 120 tons of food every year, and I do mention food because sometimes farmers forget they are actually producing food. Sometimes they think they're producing a commodity. We don't see it as a commodity. We see it as a food item, and we have very close links with our customers, who we see really as our partners to the farm. We don't see them just as people to sell vegetables to. They're very much a part of our farm system as well. So for me, carbon on the farm is very much a part of what we do, but it's a part of that whole system. We need to farm in a positive way for carbon. It's really important. We need to measure how much we put back. This is really difficult. To do this over short periods of time span is almost impossible given the technology. So, we do face a challenge in terms of monitoring and measuring what we actually do on the farm, but it's incredibly important. The great thing about carbon farming is that people realize there is some future left in the planet. We can do something about it. So, again, it's really just a part of a much larger system. I don't think it's realistic to think that we can carry on business as usual and dump the responsibility of carbon on farmers, because they are only part of that problem. So it's not going to be business as usual. We have to decarbonise our whole society, and that includes farming as well. Farming obviously takes up a lot of space, it takes up a lot of potential carbon, and it has got some real benefits, but we're not going to do it in 20 years, unfortunately. I mean, just to measure carbon over that period of time is quite challenging. 5 years really is the minimum you can actually measurably get any sensible data from soil carbon stocks. So it is going to be a long period of time, and we have to look at farms as part of that solution. We have to look at farms in terms of reducing how much carbon they use. I mean, the nitrogen cycle, for example, if we just cut out nitrogen fertilizer, that saves a huge amount of carbon in the atmosphere. So it's not just about thinking farms as a carbon sink. We have to think about farms also as a way of reducing how much carbon they put into food production in the first place. Industrialization of food, ultra-processed foods, the transportation of food, this all takes carbon. The whole food story uses up a huge amount of carbon. So I think looking at agriculture is not enough. We need to look at the whole system of food production beyond agriculture as well.